I love people. I love
Yeah.
just helping people. I work hard at being very not judgmental.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that everybody needs and deserves a helping hand in this world, no matter what they're struggling with.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty laid back, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I
So,
love to learn.
oh, love to
I
learn.
love to learn.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's part of what keeps you on top of things in the energetic world, I
Yes.
suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
that and just learning different things. I mean, the universe has given us so many tools to use to learn about ourselves and how to relate to other people and to how to become who we're meant to be.
Yeah.
When we when we move aside or move past our, sadness, grief, trauma, whatever we've been through in this world,
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful thing on the other side.
Well, tell me about your journey there. How did it begin for you? Was it as a child? Did you have an awareness
Yeah,
of?
I had an awareness as a child.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I always knew I was different.
Yeah. In a
Which
good
is
way?
okay, in a
Yeah.
good way. I could feel spirits, and I felt it more so in my body, and not realizing, not really utilizing the third eye at the time.
Yeah. So you're a child, and what did you feel?
I would just feel different vibrations, different things. It's like I could almost predict what would happen. I could look at a situation and like, ooh, it can go a couple of ways. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I could feel spirits around me. I mean, at a lot of different times and points in my life. It was, something that I've always been interested in. More so when I was like 8 years old. I remember I got up early one morning. My dad was reading the paper at the table. He got up like 4:30 in the morning every morning.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you read your horoscope today?" I'm like, "What's that?" So, yeah, and he showed me, and it just set me on this whole different path.
Really, that one
Yes,
moment?
just that one moment. I'm like, "Oh, I like this."
Really?
Yeah.
So it sounds like your dad might have been supportive in this, or
he
was
was
he
very,
just being?
very much supportive. I mean,
Yeah.
read his horoscope every morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know that," But, when he gets up early enough to get ready for work, and he left at 6 in the morning every morning. And yeah, it was quite interesting. But
So so you had an awareness even before that moment, but that kind of
triggered my love for learning.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden I couldn't get enough information. I had to learn about astrology. I started looking up other, different papers at the time because we didn't have the internet.
Right.
I'd be grabbing other different, Star Tribune, Pioneer Press, or whatever it was to get my hands on to read it. I had to see if they had a horoscope in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your sign?
Virgo,
You're a Virgo.
Sagittarius rising,
Okay.
Aquarius moon.
How far could this go?
A little further.
So that started.
what's yours?
I'm a Gemini with a Sagittarius rising and Pisces moon.
Oh, God, we could have fun.
Yeah.
We
so
could.
so that was your beginning.
That was really kind of like my beginning
And
of
where'd you go
just
there?
learning. Life happens as you're a teenager, but it's
Yeah.
something about that's always stuck with me as far as, astrology. Not knowing at the time that I had the gifts that I had.
You really weren't aware.
I wasn't really aware.
Huh.
Yeah,
How is that possible?
it's possible.
Yeah.
When you're living life and,
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends tell me they called it my radar because I could, call stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they would call it my radar.
So
Yeah,
did you enjoy it? Did you nurture it?
Oh,
Did you?
I did as much as I could. I did. And I always found that I had people flocking to me for advice,
Yeah.
shoulder to lean on, to vent, to, whatever they needed, because I was a friend.
You knew. So you went from astrology to what? I mean, I know you've got a lot of tools in your. Toolkit.
Healing stones. It's one of my favorite tools I still use today.
Okay.
Healing stones, you got your amethyst, your black tourmaline.
Yeah.
I really started getting interested in healing stones. Even as a young child, I didn't have a whole lot of church experience. I went to Bible camp a couple of times at Grandma's house.
Yeah.
Got my own Bible, and there was a lot that I read in there because I really wanted to learn about the faith.
Sure.
I wanted to learn about spirit. And at the time, that was really the only starting point, that I had.
That was open to everybody.
Yeah, that was open
somehow.
to everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but there is no talk about gemstones and things like that, crystals and things
No,
like
not
that.
at the time. No,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until I, started realizing, I'd find different gemstones, and I can't remember where I found my first one, but I was just hooked, and
Yeah.
I just, just kind of took it from there.
Did you try to live a normal life, quote unquote?
Oh, I did.
Did
oh,
you?
God, did I have fun.
Really?
Yes. I was naughty sometimes, but I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to put away your gifts.
No.
Because that seems to be a fairly common story where people know they have gifts, they put them away, and then they rediscover them. You've just kind of been on the ride the whole time.
They've been with me the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, and I learned to utilize them. I learned to trust my instincts, and that's really a huge thing that people have a hard time doing sometimes.
Yes.
And but I learned growing up to trust my instincts, and if I knew somebody wasn't, telling the whole truth, I'd be like, that's something that, nope, we got to look at this a little bit more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever have to hide what you had in order to get along in the world?
A little bit. I mean, I was very careful about who I showed it to because, at the time, it was taboo, criticism,
Yeah.
But when you read the Bible, learn a few things, that makes it a little bit more acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't you find spirituality, I mean, it comes in a lot of different flavors?
Oh, gosh, yes. Like I said, there's so many tools that the universe has provided for us.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What do you mean by that?
Oh, the tools. Well, you got the astrology. You've got tarot cards. You've got, learning how to develop your psychic abilities, There's so many books, so many things out there right now, different things that people could use in order to learn about themselves.
Yeah. You just had the newspaper.
I just started with the newspaper, It's like, ooh, astrology, I like this. You're going to tell me what happens today, know? But the other tools too, you got singing bowls, sage, and, learning about vibrations. And, those are all tools. I'm a firm believer that can help us learn about ourselves. How we relate to those tools, how we relate to that in the world, how it can help us heal, our sadness, grief, whatever it is we're going through, in a lot of ways. I mean, you think of gemstones like an amethyst, for example, it's a highly protective stone, but it also helps you connect up to your spirit, and you got black tourmaline. That's another stone that's highly grounded, but very protective. If you need grounding, if we're too much up in the clouds.
Perhaps I do.
Yeah. It's a...
Were you looking at me when you said that?
All of us. But it's a really beautiful thing. And there's so many out there that you can never stop learning about them. There's, singing bowls. That's another thing, and vibration is all over. And singing bowls are beautiful for clearing the vibration in your home and, or even in yourself.
Yeah. What capacities do you use and how do you operate in the business world?
Well, my favorite thing to do, to be honest with you, is to help people get on their path of healing.
Yeah.
Help them discover what tools that they like to use. Expose them to the tools. Hey, these are the ones that I use. You might like it. Check it out. Just, discover.
Okay.
It's an adventure.
So you're kind of like an encyclopedia.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah. Or if somebody, tell me who would generally come to you for assistance? What does your clientele look like?
Well, my clientele really looks like people that are ready to heal as far as from grief, heartbreak, trauma, not knowing how to be in their body as far as having their gifts and not knowing what to do with them.
Yeah.
And
maybe not even knowing they have them.
That too. They have. They will come to me and they'll have these gifts but they'll tell me, I don't know what's going on with me. Wow. And I'm like, well, okay, this is what's going on. Yeah. And even when I do a healing on them to get them grounded, get them, alchemized and to open their mind up a little bit, and I show them and tell them what I see. Mm-hmm. They also, afterwards, usually they're like, wow, I didn't know I had these gifts. I didn't know that I could do this. I like to ask people, do you think you're an empath? Do you know what an empath is? Mm-hmm. I'll ask them, I'll say to them, okay, I'm going to say 3 words to you, and you tell me which one resonates with you, because it gets them thinking and into their bodies and connecting up with their higher self. So when those answers pop in your head, That's your higher self telling you, hey, I'm right here.
Yeah.
You know.
And what does that tell you, though?
And that tells me that, every single person in this world can do what we do.
Yeah.
Every single person.
So what is keeping us from doing what you do?
Fear. I think fear. Because it's been so taboo for so long.
Yeah.
And
why?
Why? I believe because people are scared of the unknown. It's that fear of, oh, this could be something good, but yet not everybody's doing it. So, let's just hide it.
Do you find a lot of people come to you wanting something more, but being fearful of finding something more?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I have clients that, they know something's different about them. For example, I have a client that has tons of gifts. She's an empath. She can pick up on vibrations, people's emotions, and that's what an empath does.
Yeah.
But then she's got a daughter that she just kind of butts heads with, and she's like, I don't understand her. And I'm like, well, are you sure she's not like you? Seriously, because it runs in families.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing because the vibration, I think, on planet Earth is getting healed, and everybody's really starting to come into their gifts, and they don't know what it looks like, what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's an experience like with you if somebody walks through your door or you end up on a Zoom call together? What would an experience with you be like?
Well, the first thing I ask my clients is, what's going on? What are you feeling? And it's really, everything starts with how we feel.
Don't you find that people don't really know what they feel sometimes?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And I would like to provide a safe place for them to be able to express what they're feeling and to be able to say, okay, I hear you. Because, like I said, everybody needs a helping hand. Everybody needs a shoulder once in a while. Everybody needs that unconditional love and acceptance to be able to open up and allow themselves that gift of healing with, somebody that understands them.
Yeah. Do you find that it impacts families?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what way?
In a lot of ways. I mean, because if one person wants to heal and the other ones are, nope, don't want to look at that.
Right.
And, that's hard. That's really, really hard because you've got the one person in the family that wants to heal it, get down to the nitty gritty. Let's figure this out. Let's bring in the love. And the other people are so scared that they don't know what to do with it. Right. You know what I mean? They're so scared to go there because either that's taboo to heal it or the fact that they're just so scared of their own emotions.
Right.
And emotions are just emotions. I mean, it's the energy you put behind it. We all have our own ideas. We have our own thoughts. We have our own ways of looking at things. And it doesn't mean it's good or bad all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what resonates with you in that moment.
Yeah, but we live in a culture that likes good and bad. The simple white and black story kind of a thing.
And not everything's black and white.
Right.
Not everything's black and white.
Does it shift families in a positive way sometimes where, one person shifts and the rest of the family... No.
Not always. Not always. It just depends.
No.
I mean, not everybody has to be on the same page all the time.
Yeah.
But being able to give that family member or that spouse or somebody that unconditional love and acceptance and say, I hear you. I might not be ready right now, but just that acknowledgement and say, I hear you. We might not fix it right now, but I hear you. Let's look at this later on, or let's look at this in a different way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah.
Just to open that door.
Yeah.
And not banish people or judge people or ridicule people for not thinking the way the other person thinks.
You are speaking very directly to this moment in time right now. It feels like that.
But it's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. When we can open our hearts to the unconditional love and acceptance as that person in our life, I think that opens up so much more. Yeah. So much love, so much gratitude, and just acceptance. There's so many people in this world that just, we want to be accepted. Everybody wants to be accepted. We want to be acknowledged for who we are and the gifts we bring to this world. We're all here for a reason. Yeah. We're all here for... to make a difference, whether it's your voice, whether it's something you create, whether it's something that you support, and there's always going to be that contrast, but I think the most important thing is to get past that contrast right now if we can.
we're here because of the Community for Higher Consciousness, which sounds very serious. But I've met a bunch of you guys. You're all very fun. So can you tell me a bit about that and why you are a part of it and what it brings to you and what it brings to the world?
Probably been the biggest blessing in my life. It gave me direction. It gave me understanding of my gifts.
Yeah.
It gave me understanding of, how to use them, and how to utilize them to help people.
Yeah. It almost feels like a model for a new world in some ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where,
absolutely.
Where you have a very collaborative,
yeah,
supportive, and yet individual experience.
Being accepted for who you are with unconditional love and acceptance.
Yeah.
We got a beautiful team of people who we all do a lot of the same stuff, but yet we don't. Sometimes it takes a tribe, a group, a village to help you get through and understand the things that you're going through in your life. And that's, I think, what Community Higher Consciousness really represents. It's just a beautiful village of people.
Wow.
Community.
Is there anything that you would offer to someone out there who's looking at these videos, a word of encouragement from your perspective?
Oh, just make the call. Just, if you're questioning, if you've got an instinct, an urge to reach out to any of us on Community for Higher Conscious, or even a counselor or a trusted friend, if you're really going through something, face that fear and make the call. Especially if they have gone through a lot of judgment in their life, where that's where their fear comes from, because they're afraid they're going to be judged or criticized.
Yeah.
There's always somebody out there that's going to listen. There's always somebody out there that's going to say, okay, I hear you, and you are still loved. You're okay. You have a right to feel the way you do. What do you need help with to work through it?
Yeah, I have a feeling you're a good listener.
Oh, yeah. That's what everybody tells me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at your environment. Look at the people around you. If they're supportive, great. If not, maybe it's time to put, things aside for a little bit, which is okay. You know what I mean? But also like your home, the energy of your home affects how you feel too.
Yeah.
If you're not happy where you're at, or if somebody had a fight, if you had a fight with somebody in your house, and that energy's still lingering, that can still affect how you feel. And that's why I love clearing houses.
It feels like you're here not to create a long-term relationship necessarily, but to be with somebody long enough to empower them.
That, and I do have people that come back, if they get stuck in a situation. Because I can also teach what I do. I take all Marines classes. But yeah, get them started. Get them started on their path. Guide them, help them, support them, answer questions. I have, like I said, I have clients that do come back that get stuck in a rut, or they're ready for the next level, and I just kind of guide them through and say, okay, are you ready to learn this stuff yourself now? Are you ready to move to the next level? So, but yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things, is just to give people the unconditional support and love that they need in order to get on that path that they need to get on to heal themselves, to heal their emotions, to heal their thoughts, to heal what they need to heal in their life.
I think you're talking to probably 99% of the people out there.
I just, and I tell my friends, I'm like, I love what I do so much. I can't wait to get my hands on people in a good way. Seriously. It's, because it's helped me so much in my journey. It's a beautiful thing, and it works, and you don't have to believe in it for it to work. Spirit's all around us, within us, and around us, and Spirit works through us too.